Hello, and welcome back to the channel. Today is a special day. We did 2 uploads. The previous review should be up on the channel. It is over the Adam Driver sci-fi movie 65, a movie that I'm still trying to understand to this moment. But now, let's get into a movie I enjoyed significantly more than 65, and that is Champions, the Woody Harrelson remake of this movie is actually a remake. I didn't know that until recently, but it's a remake of a Spanish film called Campeones. Obviously, just champions in Spanish. Let's get into this movie now, shall we? Story. Story is more heartfelt than I was expecting from this film. It's got some heart. It's all about Woody Harrelson is this, I believe he is a disgraced basketball coach. He used to coach at all these different levels. It reminded me a lot of this this Disney Plus show that they canceled called Big Shot, where John Stamos is this NCAA head coach, and he loses his position and then he has to take up a job elsewhere. But unlike John Stamos, where he lost an NCAA position and then he just had to go to high school level to be employed again, Woody Harrelson's character went from NCAA to Europe, to multiple teams in Europe, to super low tier basketball divisions in the United States, and then he ends up getting arrested and has to do community service for this rec basketball team for brain disabilities, for all these players with mental disabilities. And it's a heartwarming story because at the beginning of the film, it is shown that Woody Harrelson is not super proactive in the lives of his players, and these adults help change him into someone who cares more. And it's a very heartwarming story. I thought it was perfectly adequate for what it was trying to convey, so I'm giving it a hand grenade score here as something that is explosive. It's entertaining. Cinematics. This movie has a lot of basketball in it, which is really hard to film because if someone misses a basketball shot, it is pretty bad. But it's really funny to watch them literally just keep throwing in basketballs, and it's pretty obvious to see when they had to do some movie magic to make sure that the basketball went in every time, which was very fun to see them do. Cinematics, there wasn't really much to the cinematics. It is a very simple film, but it's still very enjoyable. I'm going to have to give this one a hand grenade score on this one, though, because there's not really much to the cinematics, although the music, as I state, is part of the cinematics here. The music is phenomenal. They play Tub Thumping by Chumbawamba throughout the whole film, and it's like the unofficial anthem of the movie, and it is great. I forgot that song existed, and then I heard it again in this film, and it is fantastic to hear again. It's such a funny song to me. But yeah, Hot Pocket score on cinematics. Now let's go into directing. This movie is pretty well directed. Unfortunately, it does undergo a lot of the niche. It does avoid a lot of the tropes. There we go. Tropes of sports movies where the team you're following ends up winning the big game. Spoiler alert, they don't. But let's be real here. It is about the journey you take with this film. I'm sorry about that tiny little spoiler, but to be fair, it's also a remake of a much older film. But sorry, I should have clarified this earlier. But I really like how how he decided to subvert the trope of that and made it very comical in its presentation. This movie is very funny. There were many instances where I watched this with the same group of people who watched 65, and everyone agreed that this one was way better and way funnier and way more of an enjoyable experience. And I think that's due to the directing. The director paced this a lot better than the director of the 65 paced his film. But it did feel like it was a little long at times, but that's because I think it's also a romance movie. There's a whole romantic subplot, and because you always got to have that heartbreak in the end of the second act going into the third act, it does prolong the film a bit and make it feel a little bit longer than it actually is. But it's enjoyable nonetheless. hand grenade score. Acting, every actor does a phenomenal job in this film. From Woody Harrelson to the entire cast to Ernie Hudson, who's in there for like 5 minutes, but he also steals the scene whenever he's on there. Everyone is trying not to get their scene stolen because they're all one-upping each other in this film. Everyone's enjoyable. Everyone's a blast to watch and witness on this big screen. What is left to say about this film? Acting, hand grenade score, easy. Expectations. This is another one where I didn't actually know this movie was coming out this weekend until a person in my movie group chat alerted me to the fact that this was a film coming out this weekend, because I wasn't really excited for any release this week because I hadn't seen any of the Scream movies. I still saw Scream 6 for some reason, but I enjoyed it. I knew of the 65 Adam Driver movie, but I wasn't really looking forward to it because I expected it to be a B movie with no budget, and it had a budget, just not in the writing department for some reason, or making sure that it was cohesive. And then there was this one that just came out of the blue for me, and then I'm like, oh, you know what? That sounds fun, actually. I like Woody Harrelson. He's funny. I'll go see it. This movie with Woody Harrelson. I did. I was pleasantly surprised. This ended up going into the top of my lists for the year because it was so heartfelt and emotional and such a fun ride. My expectations were shattered. It was funny. It was way funnier than it had any right to be, in all honesty. And because of that, it gets another hand grenade score from me. And so, with that, this film is a certified hand grenade. I will be probably watching this if I do many sports movies. This reminds me of the Taika Waititi Next Goal Wins sports movie that comes out later this year. I am very excited for that one, as for I'm a bigger fan of soccer, or as I like to call it, football, than I am of basketball. Basketball's also pretty interesting, but I'm also a bigger fan of Taika Waititi as a director, so I'm excited for that one. And based on the track record for sports movie this year's in Creed 3 and this one, it's looking good for Next Goal Wins, and I hope it's just as entertaining and fun as this film was. Other than that, be sure to check out the 65 review if you want to know my opinions on it, and if you want to know if you should see it or not. And be sure to check out, be sure to like, favorite, subscribe if you enjoyed, and I'll catch you guys up on the next one. I'll leave you guys to it.